everybody, and welcome back to another scary Reddit reading. Well, me. Today, we have a woman who was robbed in her sleep. We have a man who his wife changed all the locks and does not recognize him. We have a woman whose stalker knew everything personal about her. But guys, don't forget, tomorrow at the same exact time, there will be a whole new episode of Scary Stories on my Patreon. There's a story about a woman who was almost abducted, a man who visited his family all night, but they claim he never showed up, and then a dead woman came to OP for help. Anyways, you guys, make sure you check out my Patreon tomorrow for a second scary video this week. Without further ado, don't freaking forget, you suckers, you gotta subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. They came into our room while we were sleeping and robbed us. Hi Reddit, I've never posted here before, but I've been thinking about this a lot lately and just felt like I needed to get it off my chest. I know it could have been worse and we were lucky in a lot of ways, but this experience stuck with me and still messes with my head sometimes. Back in November 2020, my husband and I were robbed while we were asleep in our apartment. I've told the story here and there, but I don't think I've ever processed how scary it was. It's been over 4 years and it still lingers. That morning, I woke up and saw fraud alerts on my phone, but I didn't think much of it. I got out of bed, started getting ready for work, and went downstairs like normal. That's when I noticed the TV was gone. At first I was confused. Then I realized the game console was missing too. Our bong was shattered on the floor. That's when it hit me. Something was seriously wrong. I yelled upstairs for my husband to come down and call the police, but he couldn't find his phone. That's when we realized they had come into our bedroom and taken it right off the nightstand while we were sleeping. They were literally just a few feet from us, and we had no idea. That part still gives me chills. We kept looking around and saw that they had taken our weed, trashed our roommate's room, and pretty much grabbed whatever they could. Then I remembered the fraud charges. My wallet had been in my car. Yeah, I know, not smart. But my car was always locked. That's when I realized they had taken my keys too. Sure enough, my car was gone. It was awful. I was 19 and newly married, and it felt like everything we had was just taken overnight. We didn't have renter's insurance, no backup savings. It was one of the worst feelings I've ever had. We tried calling our roommate, but couldn't reach him. The police finally showed up and took our statements. While the police officer was still there, we got a call over the radio. My car had just been pulled over. They arrested one of the guys, but while they were putting him in the squad car, the other guy took off in my car again. Our roommate came home around that time. He had come to grab his phone, which had also been stolen. We used his phone's location to try and track them and got a ping on the highway nearby, but it went dark not long after. They must have turned it off after we called too many times. It honestly felt like something out of a movie. The officer told us they'd probably find him soon and then left. I tried to go to work that day, but I felt sick. My anxiety was through the roof. A few hours later, I got a call saying they caught the second guy and found the car. Everything that had been stolen was still inside. They had smoked in it and left ash everywhere. And there was some damage to the outside, but insurance helped. We were incredibly lucky to get it all back. I truly thank God for that outcome and that we didn't wake up while they were inside. I don't even want to think about how that could have gone. But what happens next made everything worse. That night, we came back to the apartment and found the front door unlocked and the lights on. There were ashes on the TV stand. We were sure we had turned everything off and locked up before we left. It felt like someone had been back. We packed a bag and stayed at my parents' house that night. The next day, we came back during daylight to get more of our stuff and saw handprints on the downstairs window. Someone had slid it open. We thought it was locked, but apparently the locks were broken. That was the final straw. We broke our lease and moved out as soon as we could. Even though we ended up getting our stuff back, the whole experience changed the way I think about safety and privacy. Just knowing someone was in our house, in our room, while we were asleep, it still gets to me. To this day, I can't sleep alone, and I've had panic attacks from waking up in the middle of the night. If you've made it this far, thank you. My best advice is to take your home security seriously. get cameras, renter's insurance, and if you can afford it, an alarm system. We learned the hard way, and I really wish we didn't have to. I don't think people realize it's not always the break-in, as in seeing the intruders and having this very movie-like interaction with burglars. It's the fact that your space has been invaded. Just knowing that somebody came in your house when you weren't there is enough to just, give you the heebie-jeebies. It makes you so uncomfortable. Your personal space, your private property has been violated, and you never feel safe again. I mean, you do, but you for sure, you double check, triple check, you check everything. When I lived in Jacksonville, I lived in a very bad part of town. The funny thing about Jacksonville is it's one of those towns where one street could be good, the next street could be really bad, so on, so on, so on. I'm sure some of you guys know of these types of towns. My point is, I lived in this neighborhood where we all kind of knew each other. We knew the neighbors, we knew the kids. I lived in this house where the people that were kind of adjacent to us, I want to say there was 8 kids and their mom. They watched our house, because we would give them food all the time. If any food was going bad or if they were hungry, we'd let them cut our grass when we didn't need them. We give them money. We kind of helped them out. They'd come over sometimes, blah, 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 blah. So they watched our house. And one day, I'm at work, I'm in surgery, and I get a call. Somebody just broke in your house. I had a security system because it's absolutely necessary where I lived to have a security system. I had cameras all around my house. Thankfully, most of our windows, because the house was so old, I think it was built in the 1940s, they didn't open. So we didn't have to worry about that. It's the craziest shit. We got the whole thing on camera. There was somebody jumped the fence to the backyard, and for whatever reason, my camera didn't pick up there was a person back there all day. They were sitting in this lawn chair, they were perfectly out of frame. You could just see their feet sitting in this chair. And I guess after a few hours of sitting in the back, they're like, okay, nobody's probably here. So they took a cinder block and they threw it through the window that was on the back door. They got in. They freaking pulled Ivan, my little dog, out because he used to have to sit in this playpen. It had no top, but because he would chew everything, he doesn't do that now, but he took him out, put him on the floor, let him run outside with my other dog across all this glass, and he went in for a single mission. This guy was looking for a gun, period. I'm not one of those people that's gonna buy really expensive jewelry. I don't have money like that, okay? I had jewelry sitting on the counter. At the time, I was married, and in surgery, you can't wear jewelry. So my wedding ring was sitting on the counter. Everything was in view where he could have grabbed. It's like he knew where it was. He went straight to the first bedroom. This bedroom was used just for a closet. He opened the closet door, got blood on the door from smashing the glass, runs out of there, went to the actual bedroom, flipped a mattress, grabbed the gun, and hightailed it out of there. He didn't steal anything but the gun. So, funny thing is, the person I was with at the time, they got there before the cops, cleared the house, talked to the neighbors. The neighbors knew right away who it was because there was always somebody home. There was so many of them there. And they're like, oh yeah, that was, we know who it was. They let us know before the cops knew. And this kid was wanted. He was freshly 18. This kid already had a warrant out for his arrest. It was ridiculous. So the cops, they came, they took the blood off of Ivan's head, they took the blood off of the door, and it took them almost a year. It took them close to a year to find out who did it. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But DNA does take a really, really long time to get back. We did have camera footage, but that didn't help. The moral of the story I'm getting to, we got the money back for the gun because of insurance. We got money for the back door. So although we got everything back, it was so uncomfortable. So the only windows that worked in the entire house, I put bars up. I put bars all across the back window. And it did make me feel safer, but there's always that little thing in the back of your mind. And there was so many, oh my God, you guys, there's so many crazy instances. I've told one story on here before about somebody coming up to my house at 6 a.m. with gunshots all in their hood, crazy stuff. There was so many crazy things that happened in this neighborhood. It was never boring, but this house was so nice. We didn't care. It was like, dude, it was the most incredible house, and I'll take it. I'll take it. Just get a really good security system. So anyways, because we lived in that type of neighborhood and everybody knew everybody and it was kind of a close-knit thing, but not, it did make you feel a lot safer, because anytime there was any weird shit going on, they'd give us a call like, hey, you got some weirdo by your house, or blah, 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 which was really cool. I 100% resonate with never feeling safe, because I don't really think you ever really feel safe after having your privacy violated like this. Let's go to the comments. Gosh, you guys, I'm sorry. It's just what I do. Commenter, damn, if you haven't already started, see a therapist right away. Commenter, do you know the people? Usually people don't break in unless they know what you have. OP responded, no, we didn't know them. Our blinds were a little broken though, so we suspected they were able to peer into the living room before breaking in. I don't know if that statistic is correct. I really don't, because it doesn't really make sense to me. I think that people target people based on where they live. And some people, they do their research and maybe they'll see somebody at the gas station with something flashy, or they saw them in public and followed them home. Something like that. I don't think it's necessarily somebody you know, but it would make more sense if you're somebody who gloats about things. I don't know though. Maybe mine was from somebody that knew us, from one of the kids that was like, I know that they have guns. I know they have guns, and I know you need a gun. You never know. You really don't. But I will say, you guys, when it comes to safety with your windows, this may just be a me thing, but because I know how easily, like I explained in a prior video, how easily it is to open a window with something as simple as a butter knife, a credit card, whatever the case may be. Put something there. Put a pipe, put a piece of wood, put something that will kind of jam and won't let you open any further than like this much, if you are concerned. Just a thought. I think my wife changed the locks while I was at work. The key won't turn. I jiggle it again. The familiar brass cool against my fingers. Click, click, nothing. Just resistance, where there should be this easy slide of the deadbolt. I've used this key 1,000 times, and right now, groceries in one arm, briefcase tucked tight, half asleep after a long day at work, I'm not amused. Emily? I call, giving the solid oak door a knock. Hey, the lock's being weird. Did you deadbolt it funny again? Silence from within. I peer through the narrow, leaded glass window beside the door. Emily is standing in the hallway, frozen, halfway between the living room and the kitchen. She isn't moving toward the door. She's staring at me. Her face is bone white, her eyes wide and unblinking, fixed on mine through the distorted glass. She looks like she's seen a ghost. Emily? What's wrong? I knock harder. A flicker of unease tightened in my chest. Emily, hey, are you okay? Let me in, please. It's me. It's Ben. I rattled the handle. Panic rises now, all my focus on her. A choked sob escaped her, her hand flying to her mouth. Tears well and spill over, tracking paths through her pallor. Still, she doesn't move towards the lock. Emily, please. I hammer on the wood now. Open the door. Talk to me. What happened? She flinches like she's been struck, stumbling back a step. No. She whispers, shaking her head. No. This isn't possible. Her heart kicks hard. Emily, honey, what's going on? I press my face closer to the door, voice low, urgent. Open the door, please. Let me help you. She backs further into the shadows, her hands trembling at her sides. No. She says again, firmer this time. You can't be here. Emily, I say softly. It's me. It's Ben. Just open the door, please. She snaps then, her voice sharp and panicked. "You're not Ben. Ben is dead." Silence alarms between us. Her voice, when it returns, is a thin, broken whisper, barely audible through the thick wood. "You died. You died, Ben. 6 months ago." Another sob tears through her. "We mourned you. I mourned you." 6 months. The impossibility of it slams into me. I remember yesterday morning, kissing her sleep-warm cheek, the smell of her shampoo, the mundane argument about whose turn it was to take out the recycling. I remember today, the commute, the tedious budget meeting. "Emily, that's insane. I'm right here. Look at me. I saw you this morning. I'm real. You look like him." She weeps, her voice thick with revulsion now, cutting through the fear. "You sound almost like him, but you're not Ben." Her terror is hysterical. It's cold, absolute, and utterly devastating. "Please, just go away. Whatever you are, leave us alone. Please." Then she turns. Her footsteps echo down the hall, leaving me stranded, exiled on the porch of my own home. My breath stutters. My fingers go numb. I drop the groceries without realizing. Plastic bags splitting cans rolling across the stoop. I dig into my pocket for my phone, hands trembling, but it isn't there. Of course it isn't there. Where the hell is it? "Help!" I shout, turning to the street. "Somebody, please, help me. Somebody, please. I need help." Windows glow warmingly in the distance. Cars pass. No one answers. I sprint down the sidewalk, nearly tripping on the curb, and tear across the block towards Mike's house. My oldest friend. The only person who might make sense of this. The porch light is off. I pound on the door with both fists. Mike, open up. It's Ben. Emily's not okay. She's saying crazy things. Please, man, I don't know what's going on." The living room curtain twitches. A sliver of Mike's face appears, pale, stranded, wide-eyed, and bloodshot. The porch light flicks on. The door cracks open. And there's Mike, standing barefoot in the doorway, blinking against the glare. I open my mouth to tell him all that happened, but the look on his face stops me cold. It isn't confusion. It isn't disbelief. It's pure, unadulterated horror, the same look Emily wore. He sees me. His lips press into a thin, bloodless line, and the door snaps shut. "Mike, don't do this." I roar, slamming my fist against the wood. "It's me." His voice, shrill with panic, comes from an upstairs window. "Stay away. I'm calling them. I'm calling the police. Get off my property." The window slams shut. That's when I hear the sirens, faint at first, then rising into a full shrieking wail that floods the street. Red and blue lights strobe across the street, and the house, my face. 2 cruisers skid to a stop, blocking my car. The officers step out, hands hovering near their holsters, every movement cautious and controlled. "Sir?" "Step away from the door. Hands where I can see them," the female officer shouts. Relief crashes again into panic. "Officers! Thank God! My wife, Emily, our house is right there. She locked me out, changed the locks. She's having a breakdown. And Mike here," I gesture wildly at the house. "He won't listen. Something's terribly wrong. Please help her. She's alone and terrified." The male officer, younger, keeps his laser focus on me. "Sir, your name?" Calmly. "Ben Carter. I live right here. Please, you have to help me get to my wife. She needs me." The female officer's eyes flick to Mike's house. The upstairs window is open a crack. Mike's face is visible. He nods frantically, pointing at me, his mouth moving silently. "Him. That's him, Mr. Carter," the female officer says, her voice losing none of its edge. "You need to calm down. You're causing a disturbance. You're trespassing and causing distress." "Trespassing? He's my best friend. My wife needs help. Check your files. Call it in. I'm Ben Carter." My voice is raw, rising uncontrollably. The frustration, the fear, the sheer impossibility of it all boils over me. I take an involuntary step towards her, hands gesturing wildly. "Sir, step back." Both officers shout in unison. The male officer draws his taser, not aiming, but holding it ready. Hands behind your back. Now. No. Listen to me. I yell, the world narrowing to the flashing lights, the rigid face, Mike's terrified eyes in the windows. I don't resist, but my body is taut wire, vibrating with frantic energy, my words tumbling out in desperation. Incoherent stream. She's my wife. The locks are new. 6 months is crazy. I was here yesterday. Mike, tell them. Tell them it's me. Place your hands behind your back, sir. The female officer moves fast, her grip firm on my wrist. The cold, hard click of the cuff is a shock, a sound of absolute surreal finalness that cuts through my panic. I don't fight, but my body trembles violently. You're under arrest for trespassing and disorderly conduct. You have the right to remain silent. The words blur. I'm guided firmly, my protest dissolving into choked gasps into the back of the cruiser. Through the cage, I see Mike finally open his front door, talking rapidly to another officer, gesturing at me, his face still etched with pure fear. Neighbors watch from darkened windows. This station is a blur of harsh fluorescent and muffled sound. Processing passes in a haze, fingerprints pressed to the cold scanner, the sharp tang of metal in the holding cell where they leave me. Just for now. Then the door clanks shut, and silence rushes in. Panic fades, leaving behind a hollow cold that settles deep in my bones, trembling just beneath the skin. They called it trespassing, disorderly conduct. Said Emily locked me out. Said Mike was terrified. The world circle in my head. Finally, the doors open. A detective enters. He pulls up a chair. Mr. Carter, he begins. Voice calm, flat. Benjamin Carter? That's the name you gave? He opens the folder. Yes, that's me. Please, help me. I have no idea what's going on. Please, I'm begging you. Who are you? Ben Carter, I repeat. Drop the act. Who are you? Ben Carter, I repeat. Please. Please. Sir, there's no use in lying to me. We ran your prints. He slides a printout towards me. It shows 2 sets of fingerprints, one clearly labeled from the scanner moments ago. The other? These, he says, tapping the second set, are the prints on file for Benjamin James Carter. From his driver's license application, military records, his entire life. He looks at me, gaze steadily. They don't match. What? The denial slips out, weak, automatic. That's impossible. The machine is fine, he says, his voice flat. Your prints do not match the prints of Benjamin Carter. He slides another paper from the folder, a death certificate. Benjamin James Carter, date of death, March 12th, 6 months ago. My address, my date of birth, my birthday, my parents' name, official, sealed. This is the legal record. He slides over another document, a police report, missing persons, Benjamin Carter. Vehicle recovered from Blackwater River, no signs of driver, extensive search suspended, dated 6 months ago. Then a final sheet, a property report. Complaint from Emily Carter, address. Subject reports repeated attempts by unknown male impersonating deceased husband to gain entry to residence. Locks changed on, date 3 months ago. Security system installed. Date last month. Subject described impersonator as identical to deceased spouse in appearance and voice, causing extreme distress. He closes the folder slowly. Your prints don't match Benjamin Carter's. Benjamin Carter is legally dead. His widow reports someone matching your exact description has been terrorizing her for months, trying to get to the home to claim it's yours. He leans forward slightly, his voice quiet, filled with a terrible, chilling certainty. So, I need you to tell me, who are you? And why are you doing this to this poor woman? The detective's words hang in the air like frozen poison. Prints don't match, legally dead, terrorizing her. They're facts delivered from the crushing weight of bureaucracy. My mind scrambles, a rat in a flooding cage. This isn't denial anymore. It's pure animal panic, clawing at the bars of an impossible trap. Who? Who am I? I echo. The detective's pitying stare burns like acid. I'm Ben Carter. That's my house. Emily is my wife. My voice rises, sharper than I mean echoing, off the cinder block walls. Can't you see? She's locked herself in there, terrified out of her mind, thinking nonsense. I think I need to get into that house. She needs me. She needs to see me properly to understand it's really me. I lean forward, the metal chair scraping harshly across the floor. Take me there right now. Unlock the door. Let me show her. Let me touch her. She'll know. She'll know it's me. Then she has to. The detective doesn't flinch, but his eyes shift, hardening. That look isn't suspicion anymore. It's something colder, more cautious, like he's watching a dangerous animal pace inside a cage. Mr. Whoever you are, he says evenly. Emily Carter is safe. She's under protection. She doesn't want to see you. She's terrified of you. Your insistence on forcing your way into her home, after everything we've documented, is deeply concerning. Concerning? A brittle laugh escapes me. High-pitched and wrong. She's my wife. Of course I need to get to her. Can't you grasp that? She's confused, grieving, but I'm here. I can fix this. Just take me home. My hands clench around the cold metal table. Knuckles white. I can feel the rough grain of our front door, the cold brass knob. The need to be inside, to stand in our living room, to smell the faint scent of her vanilla candle. It's a physical ache, a compulsion that drowns the chilling weight of the evidence. That house is mine. Every brick. She changed the locks, but it's still mine. I belong there. She belongs with me. Let me in. The detective slowly pushes his chair back, creating space. His hand settles casually near his hip, near his weapon. As I lean forward, pleading, my sleeves ride up slightly. My hand brushes against my temple, pushing back a strand of hair, damp with nervous sweat, and I feel it. Not the familiar texture of my own hair. It feels wrong. Thicker, coarser, almost waxy, like damp straw, not human hair. When did I last wash my hair? The question surfaces, absurd amidst the chaos. Yesterday? This morning? I lift my hand again, intended to run my fingers through my hair. I lift my hand again, intending to run my fingers through it, to confirm the strange sensation. My gaze drops to my wrist as I raise my arm. The fluorescent light overhead is harsh, unforgiving. It illuminates the sky of my inner wrist, normally pale and faintly veined. But there were no veins. I stare at the skin, an even, slightly waxed polar, with no veins beneath the surface, just smooth and unnatural, like porcelain or wax. My breath hitches. The frantic energy falters. The desperate urge to scream about Emily, about the house, falls silent. Slowly, I press the index and middle fingers of my other hand against the pulse on my neck, just below my jaw. A habit ingrained since childhood, checking my own heartbeat in moments of stress. I press hard, feel the coolness of my skin. Wait. Nothing. No rhythmic thud, no flutter, just stillness. Profound, absolute stillness beneath the slightly waxy surface. Thump thump. I imagine it. Thump thump. But my fingers feel only the unyielding firmness of flesh. No beat, no life. The crushing weight of the evidence, the prints, the death certificate, Emily's terror, Mike's horror, the pulse. My hand drops from my neck as if burned. I look down at my other wrist again. Sir? The detective says. Cautious now, but the edge of suspicion deepens into something else, something closer to the fear I saw in Emily's eyes. What is it? I can't answer. The words, "She is my wife," die on my tongue, hollow and meaningless. The desperate urge to get into that house curdles into something obscene, parasitic, as I slowly realize I'm the parasite. The house isn't mine. Emily isn't mine. They belong to Benjamin Carter, the man whose skin I wear. I look up to the detective, cold resolve blooming in me. I am Ben Carter. I'm going home, one way or another. We got a skinwalker. Yeah, so obviously this is a made-up story, but we're gonna pretend it's real and say this man has very serious schizophrenia or imposter syndrome. Maybe he faked his own death and decided, you know what, I'm gonna do a little Uno reverse and come back and be scary. Yeah, we're gonna read the comments anyways, you guys. Commenter, leave her be. The memories belong to the man whose body you stole. You need to give it back to him, if his soul hasn't already moved on. I'm confused as to why the fingerprints don't match if it's his body, however. You might want to check under your skin for robotic parts. Yeah, that's where the story kind of fell off a little bit because it is him. So what are you, a cyborg? Are you like, because even if you were, I guess if you were a skinwalker, yeah, because you wouldn't have his fingerprints, you would just mimic how he looks. But yeah, if you were him in the flesh and blood, you'd have that man's prints. Okay. Commenter, Ben is really laying down some skinwalker vibes. Either way, RIP Benjamin Carter '07. Agreed. He told me he followed me home. I'm very fortunate to live somewhere with beautiful walks nearby, so I like to get out and walk nearly every day. This place is also really safe, so it never really crossed my mind that I'd be in the position I'm currently in. It started last year. I don't keep a routine, but like I said, I like to get out and walk most days. It was a beautiful day. The paths were busy with dog walkers, locals so and on enjoying the weather and the scenery. I took my time and didn't pay too much attention to anyone because, like I said, this is a super safe place. When I turned back for home, I was aware someone was walking behind me. Not that close, so I assumed that they were just heading back the same way as me. That's not unusual, it's a very popular path. When I got home, I took my shoes off in the usual place, which is positioned so that I can see through the kitchen window, which points the same way as the front door. I noticed that there was a man looking through the kitchen window and looking really into my kitchen. Not a quick glance, a deep taking in every detail look. Then he moved away and knocked on my front door. Now, I do not open the door unless I'm expecting someone. And if it's just a parcel, there's a strong chance I'd just let him leave it in the safe space. I'd planned on ignoring him, but he knocked harder and said something close to, "I saw you get home." That gave me the impression that he wasn't going away, so I opened the door a crack and kept my foot wedged so he couldn't open it any further. I'm a small woman and he's over a foot taller than me, strong, and gave me serious "you need to run away from him" vibes. He was carrying a slow cooker box, which struck me as odd, but I figured he was taking it to the neighbor. Then he said, "I followed you home from X. Just right out with it." He gave me some story about how his mother used to live next door, and he wanted to know how long I'd lived there. I told him he wants info on the neighbors on the side his mother supposedly lived in. Then my neighbors on the other side have lived there for 50 years, and they'd be able to tell him everything. He was irritated by this answer and switched tack. Then he kept trying to invite himself in for a cup of tea, and I politely but firmly told him to leave and lock the door. I didn't go anywhere by myself for a couple of weeks and kept an eye out for him, but nothing, so I started going out by myself again. And there he was, this time riding a bike. I don't precisely remember all the times, but it was something like this. I was wandering near my favorite spot and he rode his bike around me in a big circle 3 times. He just watched me. I gave him my best "go rot in hell" glare, and he left. He kept popping up. The next time I was on my way back from the shop and he said, "Hi," legal name. "It's a nice evening." I don't remember giving him my legal name, and he carried right on, so it was uncomfortable but nothing horrendous. And I'll note that he popped up on all of the different paths around me. There were a few more instances like this. 6, maybe 7 at a guess. Then I did something stupid and I went against my gut. It had been a long week and I was dying for a walk to clear my head. It was winter, pitch black outside. Girl, come on. But I needed something small from the shop. My gut told me, don't do it. Don't go out. I had a horrible feeling before I even got my shoes on. I ignored it. Of course you did. And told myself I was being stupid. It's a beautiful, safe area. I was just being anxious and ridiculous. I got to the shop fine. I hurried along and went to the place where he'd ridden circles around me, as it's the start of a loop that's short but beautiful, which is what I needed. My gut kept telling me it's bad. Don't do it. Get home. But I hurried along. Then I was at the very darkest point, completely alone. And I saw a light coming towards me. A bike light. Of course, it was him. Now, I'll add at this point that I'm very unflappable. I've been in bars and like where guys got grabby. I've had guys much bigger than me threaten violence and try to steal from me. Every time I squared up to them and gave a strong, try it, I dare you body language, they cursed me out and I left. I was completely unfazed. That night, though, I was seriously rattled. The vibes coming off this guy are bad, really bad. So I was cornered, nowhere to go but to finish the loop. He rode around me and settled in to ride next to me, where he mentioned my address, my legal name, my pets, and gave me some history of his life before he started pushing how lonely he was. So very lonely. Won't I be his friend? He really, really wants me to go to his for a cup of tea. Then he casually mentions how he watched me take my rubbish to the bins, which was something I'd missed. I don't know how I didn't see him, but I didn't. I told him my husband was expecting me home, but he didn't believe I had a husband. I was polite with minimal responses until he gave up and rode off, clearly irritated. I was really rattled. I rushed home and told my husband, who was surprised it had bothered me so much because of the other stuff I mentioned above. He witnessed a lot of that and saw how unfazed I was. We agreed that I wasn't going anywhere alone. That was a few months ago. I said to my husband last week that now it's been a while and the paths are getting super busy again. It might be safe for me to walk alone at the peak busy period. No, no, girl, no, don't do it. Then a few days ago, we were sitting on a bench enjoying the scenery. I felt this guy rock up. He stood about 20 feet away and just stared at us for a good 5 minutes. We didn't acknowledge him. We felt it was better that way. I should note that my husband's around 6'2", and he looks rough and ready for a brawl. He'd take down anyone who's worried about me with a second thought. So I'm really lucky like that. But obviously, we don't want to start a fight out of nowhere in public. We're not stupid. When the stalker guy rode off, my husband said to me that he understood what I'd been talking about. The vibes from stalker guy are seriously creepy. They set my husband on edge. So that's how I returned to never leaving home alone again. And there's nothing I can do about it because the police aren't going to act on, okay, but seriously, he creeps me out. And my husband's not going to risk legal action against him by getting into a fight. Girl, 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 girl. By the way you talk, I'm assuming you are not in America. You are maybe in England. And I know that you cannot have there, but this is a very solid time to have one. With creeps like this, it's hard to say even leaving with someone is safe because all it takes is 2 seconds. I'm not even kidding. It takes, and you guys could both be absolutely done for. It's scary that he knows your routine. He memorized your routine. How he didn't realize you had a husband, or he kind of just ignored that fact and acted like he didn't know, is a little misleading. I think he knew and he just was like, yeah, we're gonna put that out of my head. He knew your every move. He knew that night you were gonna be walking alone. I would check for trackers, or I would check to see, I don't know if you have a security system. I don't know if you mentioned that, but they may be compromised. Oh, I hate this. I hate this. I hate this. I hate this. I would feel so unsafe. How do you function? I mean, do you have a job, OP? Are you able to go to your job every day? Like, why are people like this? And the fact that he still did it in front of your husband, I don't know how long ago you ended this story, as in you kind of just both decided to step down and the cops aren't going to do anything. Time does not mean anything for these type of people. Time is gold to these people. The second you put your guard down, it's time to strike. The second they see you slipping, you're fucked. Commenter, firstly, I'm so sorry to hear this is happening to you. No one should feel that uncomfortable by an individual that you can't even leave your house. The fact this complete stranger knows details about you a stranger wouldn't know is very concerning. Do you have any cameras, like a Ring doorbell, to maybe see if you can catch him around your property? Also, he said himself he sees you taking the rubbish out, and he knows your pet names and legal name. Plus, you've seen him staring into the kitchen. It's not okay. Thank God you have your husband around, but this doesn't exclude the fact this person is stopping you from living your life. I think maybe a camera might help build some evidence to maybe go for a restraining order. But I'm not really sure how much evidence you'd need.
I agree.
I agree. Commodore, this is pretty horrific. I have one suggestion. When you go out for walks, take his picture. Engage a PI or some burly friends of your husband's and have them watch and follow the stalker home. He must live very nearby to be able to find you going out walking. Get some information on the guy. He may have a criminal record. And then talk to the police. If they won't help, maybe a good talking to with a bunch of strong men might put the fear into him. Do not let him continue to victimize you. A husband is worried about getting in trouble if he fights him. How about verbally threatening him with buddies in tow? That stalker is getting no resistance from you, and there is no downside to continuing and escalating this behavior. I agree. There has been literally no negative feedback from you or your husband. I do not care if we are in public. You are stalking me and you're staring at me and my husband. You're getting fucked up. You are getting fucked up. I don't care. This man circled you and told you all your personal information. If that is not enough to fight on sight, I don't know what the hell is. I would have pushed his ass off his bike. I don't care. Come at me, bitch. I'll steal your bike. Push him off and steal his bike. God, dude. Again, I don't know what country you're in, but I know, like I said, from context, it sounds like you're in England or somewhere. It's like, cheerio. You know? And they have very weird laws with their weapons, with not just, you know, with their knives and other weapons that you can carry on your person. That's to say that only criminals have the harsher weapons, which is very terrifying. But I probably would have pushed his ass off his bike. I don't care how dark it is. Good. Push your ass off and steal your bike. Peace. Because he doesn't see resistance from you. So he's not going to expect you to, you know what I mean? He's gonna be like, oh, well, she's like a pretty delicate princess, a little flower. She's not gonna touch me. And obviously, your husband's kind of a bitch too. He doesn't want to sit there and cause a fight in public. I don't care if this is straight suburbia. We're fighting on site if you want to act like that. Call me ghetto. I don't care. This is going to be taken care of right now, especially since my husband's with me. This is going to be nipped in the bud, and if it makes the situation work, bring it, bitch. Nope. All right, everybody. Don't forget, tomorrow I'm going to be posting another scary Reddit video for you guys. So make sure you check it out on my Patreon. The link is in the description. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, whatever you want to do. It's all up to you.